All right, sir. So the topic is custom settings and custom metadata type uh, um, information that we're gonna go. First one is the custom settings thing actually. So why we need this custom settings? So just custom settings are like custom objects, right? It's just like any other custom object that we created. So there are two types of custom settings. One is a list, the other one is hierarchy. So list is nothing but just, what I understood is to provide the data based on the object and an associated fields without security. Whereas the hierarchy is of, it comprises of the security model. Means it goes with your profile and that can be assigned, and maybe if it is a user, then that can be also assigned an org wide, which is nothing but entire org wide. There's no profile or user. I will explain what I found practical about this, how the list looks like and how the hierarchy looks like. And after creating these custom settings, how you access this information in the coding and the Apex. It has its own methods. So this I got it from again developer forum, like from Salesforce. So this is how we get it. Their methods: get all, right, and then we have get values, right, and if it is in a hierarchy, then we have get org defaults and get instance. So these are the methods available, and I do have a link over here, and it is pointing to the Salesforce given forum this month. So it has all the information related to these methods, how we can call and all. Mainly the use is actually to access the frequently used configurational data or administrative data. Example, if you have multiple integration, right, and the third party, and then we have integration URLs. Another good example is a pick list value. Suppose we have one pick list value and which has some address information, right, which is a comma separated, and that is just valid for all the orgs, right, irrespective of it could be sandbox or it could be production. It is valid for all the orgs. So in that case, actually, so I can create this custom settings and make sure that manage the data about the complete set of string, this comma separated, like, I mean, whatever the address that we maintain, right? That thing we simply maintain as a complete value, so that that can be used as a pick list. You know what I'm saying? The pick list usually in standard, how you maintain. Suppose it could be a single value, right? As a 1, 2, 3, something like that. But in case of, I just want one complete string, which is nothing but, address, a complete address, some US, like maybe India, whatever. So that address I wanted to select. How you can do that? Through these custom settings. That is a big advantages. And this is really completely easy to manage as a configuration within the production. We don't need to come back in the deployment process. It will be easy. We do have a custom label. There's a concept, right, that goes by with the only one value, right? One value means like it's not that multiple values of similar sort, like I can go and save there, but for that I have to go multiple custom labels with the same. That is a tedious job, right? And how you can get it the data, but it's just act like a object, right? Within the object, we can have multiple records that we can maintain a similar, information that we're going to maintain. So I think that's the advantage mainly. And also then when we deploy the custom settings, it will not move the data associated with it. And when I say data associated with it, means actually whatever that field, the custom settings with the object that you create and also the field, that is a metadata you call, and then the data, whatever that text that values that you maintain, that will not deploy to production. That we need to maintain explicitly. That's the catch over there. So when we try to fetch the data in Apex, right, it doesn't require SOQL, right? Because we are talking about that object, right? Obviously, if at all we wanted to get the data, how we get, we need to always write a query, right, in the Apex, and that's how we get it. But in case of this custom setting, this object related, it has it can fetch through its own methods, right? These are the methods I'm talking about: get all, right, get values. These are the methods that we can fetch it. And if you're handling several attributes, then we go for custom setting, which are of related. So this is main use of this custom settings. I did maintain these custom settings, and I did test one of our callout method that we were discussing, I think. Sir, you were explaining about that callout method, right? From the trailhead. I copied that one. I tried in this example. I think it worked out.
Okay.
This is all about the custom settings. And you guys have any questions over here?
So and one more thing is, whenever we use a custom settings, okay, even it will not consider governor limits, right? If you create data in custom objects to fetch data, what we have to do? We have to write a SQL query. So that will again governor limits, right?
Right.
With custom settings, so it will not include, it will not consider governor limit. You can upload some. So generally, we'll use custom settings when we use these. Whenever you have some requirement, okay, some data like some 30 records, some 40 records, frequently want to use that records in some classes anywhere. So that sample records you can store in the custom settings. You can refer that records in in our class, okay, without writing SQL query and all. Okay, even we can deploy custom settings, one sandbox, other sandbox. Okay, it is very easy to deploy and all those things. Okay, so what Mohana said, that is correct. So just we can use the get all method, get values method to get the data from the custom settings, right? So it will not count against governor limits and all. So for example, he's saying example, right? Address. For example, if you want to maintain some zip codes, okay, like that. If you want to maintain some pin codes, based on that pin code, you want to do something. All those things you can maintain in a custom settings. Frequently, whatever the data you want to use. Okay. And apart from this, what else we have? Okay. That's it. Okay. Another one is hierarchy settings. Right? Hierarchy settings means maybe if you want to, generally we discuss that in the validation rule. If you want to skip validation rule for any specific profile, specific user, what we can do? We have to call that global variables, $profile.name and all those things. Same thing we can achieve with the hierarchy custom settings. So based on some security profile, you want to skip triggers, you want to deactivate triggers, all those things is possible. Okay. So, yeah, that's all, sir. You can go ahead.
Moving on to next slide for the custom metadata type actually. So this is also same as a custom object only, right? And only the catch is actually we can't able to create a tab for it. Why we need to create this custom metadata type again? Use if the configuration of data is same across all the orgs, right? Then we go with this custom metadata type. Example, countries information is the same for all the orgs. So when we deploy the custom metadata type, it will also move the data associated with this object, means country information, whatever, which we are maintaining. The data also moves. But in case of only the difference between this custom metadata type versus our custom settings, over there, the data is not going to move to production, only the metadata, but over here the data also moves to production. And it depends which setting we're going to use, right? And it all depends on the scenario and the situation which we're going to use. So we need to pick the right choice based on these inputs, right? So that is one. And then when we try to fetch the data in Apex, actually over there in custom settings, it has its own methods. But in case of custom metadata type, we have to use a software, right? A software. However, even if you query the custom metadata, it will not affect the governor limits, and means it has its own this thing. We were going through that batch thing, right? Sri was showing the other day, like it was not affecting the governor limits, and I was testing it through practically uh, through a future call out thing. It didn't hit that governor limit, though I used this software query in the class. So these are the main points related to this custom settings versus custom metadata type. Any questions?
I'm trying to edit custom setting, and by default it gives me setting type as hierarchy. So how could we get setting type as other like list?
Yes, there is one thing actually we need to enable. I'll show you. I think there is a setting, right? You can Google it and it will come actually how to enable the list type. Sorry, hierarchy type.
Hierarchy type is enabled, but how could I get
List is
private?
not enabled, right?
Right.
Yeah. Setup schema setting is the one actually. It gives you Hari. Setup schema setting page, list custom. This is what I did. I had to face the same problem. I just did this one, but I forgot the schema setting page. Try now, actually, it should work. Right. So now I'm going to actually the class that I'm using is this one. I think day before yesterday we had is a call out example. I'm trying to maintain the custom settings, right, with just the endpoint URL, right? Whatever I have here, that I have to maintain in the custom settings, and then trying to call it over here. So I tried these many ways. This is a string anyways, right? So one is about already false, how the value I'm trying to get it. The other one is this is the endpoint basically. This is the field I created and then maintain the value, right? So this is the endpoint. All the first four are related to your the already false and get user ID, get profile ID. Based on these three are related to hierarchy, right? And then this one is related to your list. And then the fourth one, which is this is related to metadata type. So as I mentioned in the slide, for the metadata, I have to use this query, right? Developer name is equal to this thing. And in case of custom settings, I'm just going with the methods. Okay, let me go through this custom settings thing. I'm already in custom setting, just for how to go, right? Navigation, right? So this is the custom settings, right? One I maintain as a list, the other one is in a hierarchy. If I go to this one is an endpoint URLs is a label, right? How you maintain, just simply go here and then click on new. And then what is the field that you wanted to create is, which is endpoint underscore C, automatically the same thing. How you, when you create a field, how that technical name API comes in, this will automatically create it with the Salesforce. and what you put as an endpoint, right? And then where the value is actually, so if you go to manage, and this is where the name, but even further to value also there is a name, right? And then this is what the endpoint I maintain here, right? This is what the endpoint I maintain here. So for the other one as a hierarchy, if I go to hierarchy, this one to URL, and then same thing, right? And then field label is same thing. I maintain the same endpoint, right? So this is the endpoint, back to endpoint here. And then if you go to manage, and this is where I have to enter the endpoint value for the org wide level is I maintain as http://google.com. Just I wanted to see whether it is picking it or not, right? Just a value. I just gave it a right value for the profile, I think. Sorry. So for the profile endpoint, the system administrator profile is a Facebook I have given. But what is the right value for us? At the user level, I put that right value. You see this? All this and what I'm trying to do is, like, suppose you have a Facebook integration, you have our this thing, this integration, and there is a Google integration, right? All these things we're trying to put it, maintain in this way. And also, just for example, I'm trying to take it as a user mode, and also trying to take it as a org wide, and then also I'm trying to take it the profile mode. So I maintain profile level, user level, and the organization level value. So these three things I have maintained it. Let me go to my code, right? So right now I have enabled it for what? So get org defaults endpoint URL. This is what we have over there. That field name endpoint URL, and then get org defaults dot. What is that you're trying to achieve? This is the endpoint, right? The field name. So when I try to execute, this one, right? Call out, call in. What is that expected thing for get org defaults? What is that we maintain? Let's see. See, there's no protocol like a google.com. So it called, right? So this is what we call from our custom setting value, google.com, right? It is coming or not? This is coming, right? Google.com. But of course, we don't have this protocol is not accepting because ours is what? Ours is this one, right? Ours is this one. So in order to get the right values, right? Let me comment it out, and then we'll go with I think user info is the right one actually. We have a right values. Let's uncomment this, save this one, and then Control E, execute highlight. You see, this is successful, right? And if you open this one, see the debug logs. So what is the output that we are expecting? So this is what the output we expect, because this is deserialized, and this is what, because it's the right URL. All I'm trying to show over here is actually whether we are trying to get the values from the custom settings or not. So we are getting it right. My goal is not to show get that this thing, but my goal is to get pass this value through custom settings, right? And that's where it passed it.
Correct.
And using the right method means get user, because this is where I maintained that particular value, the right endpoint, this particular URL I maintained, right? So that I could able to catch it, and I can pass it to this string, and that's why I'm getting there. Earlier we were trying to do the hard code, directly put this value. Instead of that, I'm using custom setting to get the values. And if it is a multiple, this integration is only not once, right? And it could be multiple. In a similar way, we should have the pick list values too. And anything that we wanted to catch hold of all the values, maybe we can have a list, right? At that time, we can list it out and then try to get and collect it and put it in something like that. But I have to try that one, but maybe I have to try how to use it in the list and iterate it in those var records, whatever. But right now I took it only one value. This is also similar way. This also should work. The profile ID thing. Let's comment it out, and then Control S, Control E, execute highlight. You see this Facebook. This we retrieve the Facebook.com, but of course for our call out example, this is not gonna suitable, right? That's where no protocol is available. So that is the error. But after this, right, we also have the custom metadata, right? Custom metadata, yeah. So I will show you Control S, and this is where what the settings are, right? Custom metadata types is also one settings. This is also similarly like a custom settings thing, right? You can go to new custom metadata type, right? And then once you maintain that, you maintain the, so this is where the API name it comes in, right? And then go to manage records. So this is where the data I have maintained, right? The label and the endpoint name, which is trailhead. So if you see this is the endpoint I have maintained is this one, right? So this is how you maintain the data and new, and you can have added the values. This once you maintain over there, and this is how you access the data in our Apex string endpoint. I mean, this we are trying to collect it to string, right? So select endpoint from, this is what the object, and then developer name is equal to trailhead. And what is that value? Values are available over here, right? In this, so I'm trying to pass it to my string. So this is nothing but our, this value is going to come, right? Whatever I have maintained. Let me execute it and see whether it's coming or not. Execute highlight. Right. You see this? So I threw, this is a custom metadata. From there, I got this URL using that SQL query. So all I'm trying to show over here is how you maintain the custom settings and also custom metadata type, and then how you access it in our program. But the custom settings, again, I'm telling, it has its own method to fetch the data from the list and hierarchy. But in case of metadata type, we have to write the SQL query to get it. And that's how we can use it in our programs. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And this is what I found it from Google.
No, sir, it's okay. So the main, if you see, observe here, looks like a custom settings and custom metadata both are same, right? So if you go to the custom metadata type, like that object will end with the underscore MDT. Okay. Okay. But custom settings is normal, like a same, like a custom object only, underscore C only. Okay. And one more thing is, if you deploy your custom settings from one org to other org, okay. So what will happen is, so again, after deploying custom settings, you have to add data again. We have to enter data manually. Okay. But if you deploy custom metadata type from one org to other org, either sandbox to sandbox or sandbox to production, you don't need to enter data again. You can deploy data along with the custom metadata. That is a like a benefit of custom metadata type. Understand what I'm saying? If you deploy custom settings, again you have to create record. For example, now Mohana has created some record, right, in the custom settings, like a one hierarchy setting he created, one user fee data created. That again you have to create manually in the other sandboxes. If you deploy custom metadata type, you need to create records again.
No, we have to deploy so that this will be available in the other orgs.
Exactly, sir. Directly you can deploy custom metadata with the records, so that don't need to create again data, right? That's the benefit again in custom metadata. And one more thing is, if you want to update custom settings, you can update through code, you can update custom settings data, but we cannot update custom metadata using a Apex code. Maybe using some DML, if you want to update custom settings in the record and all, you can update that. Can we update using Apex custom metadata? We cannot update. Okay, some difference between is difference is there a little bit, all those things. Okay, even though you are writing SQL query on the custom metadata, it will not count against your SQL governor limit until if you have any long test area, some rich text area field, long test area field if you use, then only it will count against governor limit. Otherwise, it will not count again your governor limits, 100 SQL limits. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. That's all.
Thank you, guys, and that's all, sir, from my end.
If you have found any difference between one slide and also difference between custom setting and metadata?
I have it, sir. I think I put it right. So the multiple, right? One is about deployment thing, right? If you are handling, when you try to fetch the data in Apex, it doesn't require SQL. But in case of this one, we need SQL custom metadata type. And when we deploy the custom metadata type, it will also know the data associated with this object. But in case of custom settings, it is not. It is only goes the metadata. That's it. When we deploy the custom, it will not know. There are two differences, major.
Correct. And in the custom settings, it will not support for all the data types, sir. I think in the custom settings, you cannot create lookup field, right? Master detail, that type of fields, it will not support. It will support only few data types. Even custom metadata type also, I guess. So it will not support all the data types. Okay, we have to check that one also.
I think lookup is custom metadata.
Yeah, that limitations, some limitations we have. Okay, so this will very useful, sir. Custom settings or custom metadata. What is the benefit you will get is, okay. So for example, if you have like a 20-30 records are there, that records you want to store in a Salesforce, you can store it in a custom metadata type, right? Even if you are adding any feature, and if you add one more record, that is like a that you can go custom metadata, we can add record. That is the easy way. So for example, if you take one example, sir, I have logic, some logic is there. Okay, that logic I want to execute for only for like a profile for a role called like a salesperson, team lead. Okay, we have many roles. We have salesperson, team lead, and all those things. 1 minute, sir. Can I share my screen? Thanks, sir. I'll give an example. So in which case you can go for custom settings or metadata type. So for example, I have some roles like a salesperson. Okay, Vara. Okay, sales team lead Mohana. Okay, sales team lead. Okay, Hariharan. Okay, so we have different roles. We have again like a manager. Okay, CEO, CFO. Okay, director, whatever it may be. So many roles we have in a Salesforce. Okay, but there is some logic you want to execute. That logic you want to like execute only for the these roles: salesperson role, team lead role. Okay, so in this case, what we can do is, okay, directly you can check, right? You can add these two into the list of string. Which roles, sir? Which roles you want to add in the list of string? List of roles equal to new list of string. You want to execute your some code for which roles?
Salesperson and then sales team lead.
Correct. So what I can do directly, I can hard code right, sir, like this here. Correct. Salesperson and sales team lead maybe.
Right.
So I want to execute some code, some piece of code for only these two roles. So what I can do, whatever the code you have going to read execute, I'll check directly. If, for example, you can get okay, list of roles dot contains So for example, who created record? For example, I created record by how, for example, user info dot get role ID. So just now,
User info dot, yes, sir. Yeah.
like Mona told some example, right? If you what is the use of user info dot get role ID means whoever running that, for example, I am running that class, it will take my ID. Okay, if you click on okay, user info dot get role ID means whoever creating a record that time it will take that role ID. Okay, so for example, I am running, my role is for example salesperson, so that logic needs to execute. Okay, this logic needs to execute. For example, this logic you are using a trigger. So if I run this trigger, okay, my role is, what is my role? I am running this trigger, right? What is my role? Salesperson. So salesperson is there in this existing roles. Yes or no? What is my role here? User info dot get role ID.
Yes, sir.
My role
It
is there. So this
Yeah.
logic will execute, right? Logic will execute. Okay, you have written this code and you have deployed this code. Everything is working fine. You have deployed to production also. Okay, but what will happen is, so for example, so even we have another thing called manager. Okay, so for manager also we have to check if manager also contains role is there also in this list of roles. For that person also I want to execute this code. So in this case, what we have to do, sir? Again, we have to go for code, correct? Again, we have to add, yes or no? If you want to execute this logic for manager also,
Yeah, we simply go there and add it. Yeah.
yeah, we have to go and you have to do code changes again.
Code changes, yes.
So instead of this, what you can do is, instead of creating like list of roles and all those things, just whatever the requirement, create a custom metadata. Okay, in the custom metadata, create two like a field called role. That's it. In the role, create a two records. Which role? Which records you have to create two records? One is salesperson role. Other one is a which one, sir? Sales team role. So you can use this custom metadata type here. Write a SQL query instead of that one. Right? Write SQL on custom metadata and assign to the what's a list of string that roles. So what will happen is, in case in the future, if they want to ask add more roles for this logic, what you can do, you don't need to do any code changes, sir. Where we have to do changes? Go to custom metadata, create one more role. Which role? Manager. If they want to ask one, they want to, for example, they want to skip this logic for salesperson. What you have to do? Go custom metadata, delete the role. So like this, you can make our code dynamic, sir. No need to code changes. What are the changes you are doing? Where we are doing changes? Custom metadata type only. So this is like one example, sir. Everyone is following what I'm saying? If you don't have custom metadata, what we have to do? Every time we have to go for code, we have to add a string and everything.
Right, sir.
So instead of that, what we can do? Whatever the logic you want to execute for some roles or some profiles or some users or some anything, that put in a custom metadata. In future, they will ask if you want to add more roles, you can go and create more roles. That's it. Records only you are creating. If you want to skip for existing roles, you can delete that shit. This is a very easy way. Okay. If you use a custom metadata type, what is the benefit you will get here is you can deploy custom metadata with the records. Okay. Data also you can deploy. That is the one best thing. Even if you have 20 records or 30 records, 40 records, you can deploy data with the metadata. All those things. Okay. And one more thing is we cannot update this custom metadata records using Apex. But if you want to update custom settings data using Apex, you can do that. You can update custom settings data using Apex code. By doing DML, you can do that. But that is not possible with the custom metadata. Clear, sir, what I'm saying? Everyone is following?
Yes.
You can say this is an example. Even some people ask, okay, all those things. Okay. That's it, sir. Yeah, actually, it is good, sir. Mona, sir. That is even